Marvel Studios is no longer in a growth phase, it's in a survival phase. After years of uneven releases, audience fatigue, and creative uncertainty, the studio is betting everything on a small number of massive projects that will determine whether the MCU regains cultural dominance or fades into background noise. The films coming in 2026 and 2027 aren't just sequels. They are pressure points. Every decision matters. Every story has consequences. This is Marvel's reset moment. Spider-Man: Brand New Day, the rebirth of Peter Parker. Spider-Man: Brand New Day is quietly becoming one of the most important Marvel films in years, not because of spectacle, but because of restraint. After No Way Home erased Peter Parker from everyone's memory, Marvel made a bold decision: remove the safety net. No Avengers, no billionaire mentors, no world-saving tech, just Peter, New York, and consequences. Brand New Day is expected to lean heavily into street-level storytelling. This is Spider-Man stripped to his core, juggling rent, responsibility, loneliness, and danger in a city that doesn't know his name anymore. That emotional isolation is the engine of this film. Peter isn't trying to be a hero for the world anymore. He's trying to survive. What makes this film especially anticipated is its role as a tonal anchor. While the MCU spirals toward multiversal chaos, Brand New Day grounds everything. It reminds audiences why Spider-Man matters in the first place. The story reportedly explores criminal empires tightening their grip on New York, with Kingpin looming as a long-term threat. Every punch matters. Every mistake hurts. If Marvel gets this right, Spider-Man doesn't just continue, he becomes the emotional spine of the next saga. Avengers: Doomsday, the rise of a true MCU villain. Avengers. Doomsday is Marvel's most dangerous gamble since Infinity War, not because of spectacle, but because of what it represents. This film isn't designed to celebrate victory or nostalgia. It is meant to reset the power balance of the MCU by introducing Victor Von Doom not as a cameo, not as a multiversal gimmick, and not as comic relief, but as a permanent force. Doom arrives as the central antagonist of a new era, one whose shadow is meant to stretch across multiple phases, not a single storyline. Doom is fundamentally different from Thanos in both philosophy and presence. Thanos believed his cruelty was justified by balance. Doom doesn't justify anything. He sees the universe as a system that naturally gravitates toward his rule. He is intellect stripped of humility, power stripped of restraint, and ambition stripped of morality. That combination makes him uniquely terrifying. He doesn't react to chaos, he engineers it. He doesn't seek approval or understanding. He assumes inevitability. Doomsday is expected to pull together the MCU's most fragmented threads: advanced science colliding with forbidden magic, global politics buckling under superhuman pressure, and unresolved multiversal consequences finally crashing into one another. This isn't a clean crossover, it's a controlled collapse. And the Avengers who face Doom are not the icons of the past. They are a fractured, evolving generation still searching for leadership, unity, and purpose, facing a villain who outthinks them long before he overpowers them. The anticipation surrounding this film isn't driven by hype, it's driven by relief. Fans have been waiting for a villain who feels inevitable again, someone who doesn't vanish after one defeat, someone whose existence alone reshapes the universe's rules. Avengers: Secret Wars, the MCU's final reckoning. If Doomsday is the collapse, Secret Wars is the reckoning. This is the culmination of everything Marvel has been building towards since the multiverse was introduced. Universes colliding, timelines folding, characters erased, merged, or reborn. Secret Wars is expected to be Marvel's most ambitious project ever, not just in scale, but in consequence. This isn't fan service for its own sake, it's a controlled demolition of the MCU as we know it. Characters from different realities, past franchises, and broken timelines are expected to collide on a single battleground where survival itself is uncertain. What makes Secret Wars so anticipated is its finality. This is where Marvel earns the right to move forward, where stories end permanently, where sacrifices can no longer be undone by time travel or magic buttons. If Marvel succeeds, Secret Wars becomes the franchise's Empire Strikes Back and Endgame rolled into one. If they fail, the multiverse experiment collapses under its own weight. This film isn't about nostalgia, it's about choosing what survives. Daredevil, Born Again, the tone shift Marvel desperately needs. While not a movie, Daredevil, Born Again is one of the most important MCU releases of this era, and its impact will ripple directly into the films that follow. This series represents Marvel's full commitment to grounded, mature storytelling. Matt Murdock's return isn't about costumes or cameos, it's about moral exhaustion. Born Again is expected to explore what happens when justice fails repeatedly, when systems rot from the inside, and when a hero must decide how far they're willing to go before becoming something else. The success of Daredevil matters because it proves Marvel can still tell adult stories without hiding behind jokes or spectacle. It sets the tone for street-level narratives that will intersect with Spider-Man and beyond. If Daredevil works, Marvel regains credibility with an audience that wants stakes again. Vision Quest and Wonder Man, the quiet experiments. Vision Quest and Wonder Man may not dominate headlines, but they represent something crucial. Marvel experimenting with identity, fame, and artificial consciousness rather than explosions. Vision Quest is expected to deal with legacy, memory, and what remains after resurrection. Wonder Man explores celebrity culture inside a superhero world, something Marvel has barely touched. These projects matter because they signal a shift away from formula. Marvel testing quieter, stranger ideas again is a sign of creative confidence returning. Why 2026-2027 will decide everything. Marvel doesn't need more content, it needs meaning. Spider-Man Brand New Day brings heart. Avengers Doomsday brings fear. Avengers Secret Wars brings consequence. Daredevil Born Again brings credibility. This is not a flood of releases, it's a focused strike. For the first time in years, Marvel appears to understand what's at stake. These projects aren't about chasing trends or filling calendars. They are about restoring trust, emotional investment, and narrative discipline. The next 2 years will determine whether the MCU evolves or ends as a relic of a different era. This isn't hype anymore. It's a verdict. The multiverse stops being a gimmick and becomes a mirror. Legacy characters are no longer crutches, but testaments. Stakes return because choices finally matter again. Death means absence, not a teaser. Victory comes at a cost the heroes must carry. Villains are no longer loud, they are right, dangerous, and personal. Humor supports the story instead of escaping it. Continuity becomes a promise, not homework. Characters grow older, wearier, and wiser. The audience is treated as invested partners, not passive consumers. Spectacle serves theme, not the other way around. Silence is allowed to linger after the punch lands. The world reacts, remembers, and scars. If this fails, there will be no excuses left. If it succeeds, Marvel earns its future back.